I randomly started thinking about which are my favorite TV shows that I can rewatch random episodes. I don't necessarily have the time to rewatch the entire series. That's just not in my books, honestly, for maybe a couple of years now. But I do sometimes think about a random episode and I want to rewatch it. And it might be on Netflix, but I've also found that YouTube is great because I'm obviously not the only one who feels the same way about that particular episode or that particular moment. So I was thinking about maybe my top 5 moments that I like to rewatch. And I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm going to loophole it right there into moments, because now that I literally just said the word YouTube, I thought about, there are some that are like compilations. So I'd say, although I'm a huge, Seinfeld, Frasier, Cheers, Home Improvement, go down that line, I'm a fan of all those shows. I don't rewatch those. I honestly don't. If Seinfeld's on TV, I'll watch it. But I'm a bit sentimental. So I go back to those moments that, like, when I saw them, I go, oh, I know that I might have cried or gasped or freaked out or had to, I don't know what I did back then, maybe like write on my blog or, conference call some of my friends or, I don't know, send a pager or something. But I'm not that old. I'm not even going to put them in order because I'm just going to say the top 5 that come in my mind. I think it's the top 5 and not top 3. The regeneration of Matt Smith with Coleman there. So that would be 11th. The 11th to the 12th with the surprise visit from Amy. Some people were shocked that it wasn't Amy and Rory, but the doctor was with Amy, man. That it wasn't an Amy and Rory thing. I mean, he loved Rory, but not as much as he obviously felt a strong like brother to brother connection with Amy. And it was sweet and awesome and beautiful, and the music and the flashbacks and like I'm about to die and I'm reimagining. It's the first face I ever saw. The beautiful last lines. Stephen Moffat really killed it with the when he said when he wrote the lines, we're all different people all through our lives, and that's good, that's great, as long as you keep going, as long as you don't forget all the people that you used to be. And he said that's an amazing thing just in general. That's definitely a video that I actually kind of rewatch once in a while. I'm like, oh my god, that's awesome. Here's a different one. Naruto. It's not Naruto. Naruto, when he beats Pain. And I know a lot of stuff has happened since then, but when he beats Pain, which was actually Nagato, but when he beats Pain and he returns back to the village, and it's the first time that Naruto becomes the hero to everybody. Like, his close friends knew it, that he was kick-ass. His friends knew that he was good. But that was the moment when, like, literally the entire village was there. And, like, his old teacher was crying, and Kakashi's like, I can't believe how great you've grown. And even, like, Sakura, like, punched him and then hugged him. I rewatched that. I rewatched the whole Pain thing, too. I do, but that moment to me is epic. I rewatch the last episode of Lost many a times. I know Lost is a controversial topic. I think we might never be able to talk about it on this TV show because, Forrest honestly never watched it, but it is one of my favorites. I do rewatch a bunch of those episodes once in a while because there were some great, beautifully written episodes. But the last episode to me was epic. I loved it. It was a true shout out to the fans who've been there since season 1. To the people who saw more than just like an action show, people who understood that it was a much deeper show. And I guess that was its beauty, but it's also its weakness to expect everybody to be as well versed in like history and mythology, religions. Like if you honestly didn't read a lot or know a lot of like poetry and old books, and I know that sounds weird, like old books, but like honestly like classics, you would be lost in a lot of the episodes of Lost. Kind of redundant. Another one I rewatch a lot when I get to watch it is actually the 10th turning to 11th. Now, see, the 10th is my favorite. It's always been my favorite. Honestly, will be my favorite. I love Matt Smith. I love Capaldi. They have great, wonderful episodes. But 10th was, I guess, the first time I started watching Doctor Who. So that's why I loved it. That's why, Tennant was my favorite. And Ninth was good too, but Ninth was only there for a season, and he had really good episodes and a great regeneration scene as well. But not like 10th. To go back and see every single one of his old companions, be able to see them. I'll shout out to those who've been watching Doctor Who for a long time. The Donna scene, marvelous. Even Martha, not many people like Martha, but even Martha, great. I mean, honestly, it's a great episode that I truly rewatch multiple times. And another favorite of mine, and I wanted to end with this one because I knew it was going to end with a bang, is the episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Not the ending, not Angel, which was also good and I loved it, but the episode where Buffy has to actually send Angel to hell. He just returns from being Angelus, turns into Angel. He's completely lost. He doesn't understand why everybody's what's going on. But at this moment, the portal to hell has opened. He definitely he has to die. And Buffy's like staring at him and just understands that, holy crap, I gotta kill the guy I love. He's back. He's no longer this evil spawn. He's not Angelus anymore. But it's just amazing. The acting, their faces, like he doesn't understand what's going on. He's like, Buffy, why am I here? And then she's just like, kisses him and poof, stabs him with the sword, sends him to hell. That was intense. I mean, the whole episode's great. The whole storyline of that moment was wonderful. But that was like, I remember, what was this, like 96, 97, 98? I don't know, maybe it was just like 98, 99, but it was mid-late 90s, and I was like, this is like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I get it, it's a girl, but it's like, there was always fighting, there was always deaths, there wasn't a lot of lovey-dovey stuff, but that was an episode that I'll rewatch.
Where should I even start? Favorite 5 moments in television with rewatchable value. That's a tall order, my friend. Now, I could take the easy route. You know what? I'm going to take the easy way out. All my favorite moments are in 2 shows, which I'll mention later on. And basically because they are my 2 favorite shows, and they have so many great moments that it's even hard to pick in those 2 shows. But before I get to that, there are moments that stand out. May not be the top 5, but they are worth mentioning. First of all, let's go with my least favorites on my list. Will be on Game of Thrones, and I gotta say, I'm not the biggest Game of Thrones fans. I actually don't think. I think it's an amazing show. It's well done, but I don't go crazy over it like most people do. I Most of the time I see the episode, I say, "Damn, that's well done. That's good television," and then I move on. And I see people like they want to keep on talking about it and they want to keep on analyzing it to death and comparing it to the books and all that. I haven't gotten into that. I just watch them, really enjoy them. I do. I mean, I have to see them as soon as possible, but that's it. I'm done. I enjoy more for me than for the fact that I can like interact with other people about it. I don't even talk about it. Most people when they talk about it, I just go like, "Oh yeah, really? That's interesting, great, awesome," and just try to move on. But there are two moments in that show that made me gasp, and that's kind of the ranking I'm using. There's shows that made me cry, show that made me gasp, and show that just bring goosebumps whenever I see it. I mean, the moments in those shows. Now, two moments in particular from Game of Thrones is the death of Ned Stark because it was completely unexpected, and when it happened, it's like everything just goes silent. I'm not even sure if the show went silent. I mean, everything around me went silent. I'm like, wait, what? What just happened? And just everything just turned around for me, and I was like, oh, what the hell? So that's one moment when I just gasped and I was like, oh God. Now, second moment of that show is not even one of the highest ranking moments of the show when you look at any list, but it's when Jon Snow is in the ship in the small raft, and he's running away from the White Walkers when they're like rising in the beach, and he has this face of just utter surprise. Not even surprise. It's just like, oh my God, we're so fucked right now. And that face is precious for me. So that's another like, oh, awesome moment. Uh, Now, as for moments that would give me like goosebumps, I have to mention Battlestar Galactica, the moment where the ship is dropping a new Caprica. That is one of my favorite moments of all time. It's still not one of the five, but it's one of the favorite moments of all time. It's like when that's going on, I felt the excitement and the joy of of what they were accomplishing, and it was just one of those moments where I stood up and cheered, even though I was watching television by myself. So yeah, that's definitely worth mentioning. Now there is a show that just makes me cry over and over and over again, and there's two moments I have to mention from that show before I even move on to my list. Now, the show is The Flash. I know it's a pretty new show, and given all the years and years of history of television, mentioning The Flash right now may seem a little off. Like maybe it shouldn't be on the list at all. But come on, you gotta love that episode that's called the Runaway Dinosaur, the one that Kevin Smith directed. Jesus, when this kid Grant Gustin starts reading, not reading, he starts reciting what the book was talking about, what the book was all about. He recited word per word, and you can see the mixture of joy and sadness in his eyes, and the way he just, ah man, I mean that brought tears to my eyes. That is my favorite moment from the show, and of course the season finale, which that should be its own podcast by itself. We should at some point talk about that. But the season finale was just amazing. The first season finale. Now, I gave you all that because I felt like I just couldn't just say that my favorite moments are from this two different shows. Uh, well, here we go to answer your proper question. Now, from Doctor Who, obviously, you mentioned it. It is one of the greatest moments on television when Amy comes up to him and says, "Goodbye, Raggedy Man." I mean, it just broke down. That was like the greatest moment in television I've ever experienced. It was amazing. And Moffat is an amazing writer, and he just never lets down, and he's always surprising, thinking ahead. I mean, the whole Peter Capaldi, the way he handled it. I mean, well, again, that's something that we could touch on for hours and hours in different shows. Just one episode of Doctor Who, we could probably do 100 podcasts about. But that's one moment, and then the second moment, I give you that David Tennant's regeneration, that is one of my top moments as well. I'll give you that. Peter Capaldi trying to escape the prison with one punch every day, and oh well, the list goes on and on. But there's one moment from last season that just got to me. It was the Singing Towers of Darillium when he's with River Song, and she knows it's the last time that they're going to be together, and she asked him, how long are the nights? Because the prophecy is they were going to spend their last night together at the Singing Towers. And he asked, after like the sad goodbye they're giving each other, she asked, like, how long is a night in Darillion? And he answers some ridiculous number, like 26 years or something like that, giving you the understanding they're going to spend 26 years together. And that's just, that was brilliant. Just brilliant. One of my top favorite moments of all time. Now the second show I can bring things from, it's One Piece. One Piece is my second favorite show of all time. Doctor Who's number one. One Piece is second. Now there's three moments in that show that just, for me, are written to perfection, or are elaborated along years and years and years until you get to those moments, and it's their perfection within that show. Now the first one is, and this is no particular order, but the first one is when they're leaving Alabasta and they raise their hands and they have the X marked in their forearms and they're saying goodbye. That is, oof, I can't even put it into words, man. I'm actually tearing up just thinking about it. And one of the most exciting moments the show has is when they're riding up where they're going. Mary is riding up the tower of water up all the way up to the Sky Island. And it's just such a rush of enjoyment and the sense of adventure that the show has. And it's in that moment, they just get all those feelings together, and they do the best, they just transmit the best feeling ever on that particular moment. And then, of course, the saddest and the most shocking moment for me in the show was the death of Luffy's brother Ace. When that happened, and after that, later on, when he came back and showed everybody the arm, he came back to where Ace died, and he showed everybody the arm, just telling everybody, go train fucking hard, come back in 2 years instead of 3 weeks. We're gonna take care of business afterwards. And seeing him break down, wow, those are my favorite moments, man. I mean, again, it's like trying to select your favorite child, but that's the best I can answer. But it's good enough, man.
Okay, a little bit cheap that, I gave you 5 moments and you went ahead and gave me like 25,000. But let me answer back. Doctor Who does have great, excellent moments. I have to say, I have to correct you on one thing. When Amy shows up in 11th Regeneration, she says, Raggedy Man, good night. She says, goodbye, Raggedy Man, in Angels Take Manhattan, when the Screaming Angel takes Rory and then she decides to go with him. But that was also a great moment when the last paper, that's the last page of the book, that was pretty cool. I do love also Doomsday when 10th and Rose Tyler get separated and he shows up as a mirage and he says, I'm burning up a star just to see you. Amazing fucking line. In 12th with Capaldi, also in Hellbent. Hellbent had great moments, but I think my favorite moment was with Clara. You mentioned when obviously punching the giant diamond ice wall for millions of years. It was the moment when Clara hears the lady say, on our calculation, like 31 million years is just when she turns around and her face of like 31 million years, the doctor went through the same day over and over and over again just to get her. And she asked him, why would you do that? And her face is brilliant, and his response is perfect, just so like offhandedly, I have a duty of care. That's awesome. I'm gonna go back to, you said Battlestar Galactica. I love Battlestar Galactica. There's 1,000 great moments, but there's one moment that I definitely have always loved. It brought back a really good Jimi Hendrix song by Bear McCreary. Bear McCreary does a lot of music for a lot of TV shows. Battlestar Galactica is where he like popped back up again. He's the guy who did the opening sequence for The Walking Dead. But it's the one moment when the original 5 Cylons find out they're the original 5 Cylons, that they're playing all around the Watchtower. It's this really cool version of it, and they all hear the music, and they walk into a room, and that's when they go, "Oh my God, we're Cylons." And it's like all these random, like not even wonderful, like some were like really cool, important characters. Others were like, really, this one? But it was cool to see, just like they threw that at you was horrific and wonderful, all in one giant moment. And then I have to go way back to my love for DC Comics, because you brought it back with The Flash. I mean, I love The Flash, but I don't have any moment yet that has hit me. The Arrow, I watch it because I have to watch it. Legends of Tomorrow, I watch it because I gotta watch it too. And I watched Supergirl as well, and it's got pretty good moments. But I'm gonna go way back. I'm gonna say Smallville, man. Smallville, I don't know if you remember the episode when Clark finally tells Lana he's Superman, and she loves him, and they're gonna get together, and they're gonna be happily ever after. And stupid Lionel Luthor approaches Jonathan Kent and says, you know, I know your son is the red blue blur, but at the same time we have that like Lex is like drunk and obsessed with Lana, and he mistreats her, and she's driving away, and Lana's calling Lex, and Lana's calling Clark. Lex is like driving behind her, honking the horn. She like loses control of the car because some bus gets in the way, and like Clark is on the phone, and Clark hears the car crash, and like Lex jumps out of the car. He's like, Lana, and then you just hear the whoosh sound. Whoosh, and shows up Clark, and it's that mixture of the moment between seeing Lex's face, realize the red blue blurs Clark, that moment, and then having Clark look at Lana dying on him, and then jump forward like 10-15 minutes when he decides to like go back time, his only chance to ever reverse, time. Lana is alive again. He chooses never to tell her, but Jor-El tells him the universe will